watching GBA All Access Roadshow.
GBA All Access presents the GBA Roadshow with Jeff and John.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of GBA All Access Roadshow. Jeff, this time we made the trek over Springfield, Urbana area, talking Huntsman Elite Basketball with founder and director Trey Huntsman. Does a great job over there. We met him at actually his home, which is one of 4 training facilities he has for the Huntsman program.
Yeah, I was bummed I didn't get to go due to my back issues and the travel time, but I was really bummed I didn't get to go. But we talk to Trey on a weekly basis, and he's doing great things. Been in the business a long time, and you can't be in this business for 20 years and be doing the wrong thing. So great mission on and off the court, and we'll look forward to seeing Trey this spring.
Yeah, so we hope you enjoy this podcast. Again, talking Huntsman Elite Basketball with founder and director Trey Huntsman. All right, guys, another episode of GBA All Access on the road for our road show, and we're here today. Special place, Coach Trey Huntsman with Huntsman Elite. Coach, thanks for having us in here. This is a great facility you got here for training.
Appreciate you, man. I'm glad you guys are here, and I'm grateful that you're here as well.
Yeah, and you know we were just talking there off air, and you know we're very grateful and thankful. You know. The Huntsman Elite program and teams have been very supportive of GBA and what we do over the years, and we truly appreciate that. And you know we're here today just to kind of give that thanks back for that and talk a little bit about your program, highlight your program, and kind of let everybody out there know, hey, what's the Huntsman Elite program all about?
Absolutely.
So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about the history of the Huntsman Elite. How did it get started? To where it is today.
Absolutely.
Well,
I guess the quick version is I used to coach college basketball at Urbana University, so former collegiate coach. Then I started personal training on the side, and then I was married and then got divorced. And when I got divorced, my ex-wife moved to Michigan. So I lived in Ohio. My family lived in Michigan.
Okay.
So my son went to play basketball, and obviously, in order for him to play basketball, I would have to start running something, but I'd have to do it my own because obviously I don't believe any other program would take a kid that couldn't make it to practice, right? And so with that being said, that was kind of the beginning of me creating something that I would coach and train, and that started a program, the Huntsman program, and it was on the boys' side, and we continued to grow and then added the girls' side. And we've gone from 1 team to 23 teams, boys and girls. For a few years, we had expanded to California. Just last year was our first year that we didn't have a team in California. And so overall, it's been good. It's been going great.
Yeah, and the other unique piece to that, as you said there, is Huntsman Elite is not only just teams for boys and girls.
Yes.
You also have that other side of it.
Yes.
The training side, which as we were talking about, is a key component to the actual team and the development of the kids.
Yep. And so also in the Huntsman program, there's obviously training. We run leagues. We run camps. I do coach mentoring programs and motivational speaking. And then we also, I guess this is very important to say, technically we would be a sports ministry. And so for us, I believe, and this is the example I kind of give, like if I go to a Christian restaurant and the food is dirty, not dirty, if the food's not good, I'm not going back, right? And so we are a basketball program and we want kids to be high level and elite, but for us, their relationship with God, them understanding that God is real and God loves them is equally important. And so I believe that's something that sets us apart. But I also, like we talked about, believe that there's a lot of good AAU programs that are out there as well. And so we don't claim to be the best program, but we do believe that we are one of the top programs in the state of Ohio.
Well, and I think with the numbers and the years, as you've grown and what you do, I think it kind of speaks for itself that you are one of those great programs out there. And so you talked about Ohio, talked about teams and stuff. So with kids, kids on your teams, kids are training. What's the area where kids coming from to play and be a part of the Huntsman Elite?
Man, we're very blessed. I can't give anybody credit but God because we have kids coming from Columbus, Dayton, Bluffton, Flint, Findlay, Springfield. We probably, I think last we checked, I think we were impacting 12 counties.
Wow.
Not cities.
Yeah.
Counties. And so I have 4 different locations that I train. So I train in London, I train in Bell Fountain, here in Cable, and I also train in Springfield. And so I think most people would understand this. When you train, you normally have an impact on probably about an hour commute, radius. And so when you look at 4 different locations, now you've got kind of like that 50-mile radius in all 4 of those areas. And so that's why I think our impact's that big. And then we've been going for 15 years. So I think also the other key component is word of mouth.
Yeah.
And so when people know what you bring to the table, you're consistent at delivering that, And when you look at the AAU world, people want good coaches. They want their kids to be developed. They want them to be in an atmosphere that's safe. And they want the kids that have a desire to play at the next level to have that opportunity. And so our program gives all those.
Oh, absolutely. And I know on our side of it, on the GBA side, when we see a Huntsman elite team signed up and we know they're coming, like it's kind of this is good. We know what's coming with Huntsman elite. It's great people, great coaches, great parents. All those aspects to it as a tournament director.
Yes.
That you want to have a part of your program. So that's a compliment to what you have done with the program and how you build it. A family-based program.
Absolutely.
So, talking a little bit. Okay, let's talk spring. As we're rolling in, kind of going through the winter season, looking towards the spring season for tournaments and stuff.
Yes.
What does that look like for say a Huntsman team? Are they practicing? How many events do they play in? Things like that.
So that's a great question. We have 2 tiers. So we have kind of like an A team and a B team, and most programs don't like to use those words, and we we don't either. We use colors, but the bottom line is you have a top team, and then you have a team that's right under that. In some age groups, I could have 2 really competitive teams, so they're pretty close. And in some age groups, I'll have a really competitive team and more of a development team. And the families kind of know what team their kids are on and so forth. And so our schedules kind of depend on the level and the skill set of the teams that we have. So my formula is, I believe, when kids are younger, it's important that kids are participating in multiple sports. And so with that mindset, which could be more of a rare mindset now, I've seen a lot of kids that are doing one sport when they're younger get burnt out. Right?
Yes,
and
agree
so
100%.
then once a kid gets burnt out, if they haven't had an opportunity to get exposed or to find out that they actually are good in other sports, these kids are now kind of lost. And I've seen kids go into depression. I've seen a lot of bad things on that side. And so, again, one of the advantages to have doing this for a long time, I'm not doing things based on theory. I'm doing things based on evidence, right?
Right.
And so in my programs, my 4th and 5th grade teams probably play maybe anywhere between 4 to 6 tournaments max, right? Sometimes if we do a smaller number and we have a coach and families that are saying, hey, we want to do 1 or 2 more tournaments, I allow them to do that.
Sure.
But I don't schedule 10 tournaments for a younger team for that reason, burnout.
Yes.
Now, can they do it now? Yeah, they can do it now. But by the time they get to the 8th and 9th grade, they've played hundreds of games. Now they're kind of numb to the sport, As far as my top teams, we literally look at each team, and we will have kind of a generic, this is what we think we're going to do. And then after tryouts, we kind of have prepped. This is an exposure schedule. This is kind of a middle of the road, and then this is more of a development. And then based on those teams, we kind of will play a schedule that meets the needs of the kids that we're serving.
Sure, and that's a great way to do it. Not knocking on any other programs, but I think that's very unique with how you break that down and play them in the amount of events they play per their level, send them where they need to be. I think that's an important key. And me being, we don't have teams involved, but on the tournament side and running, it's sometimes you get an event, some of our bigger events, where you might get a lower level group, and they get thrown into the fire, so to speak. And that's it doesn't help the team that wins by 40 or the team that loses by 40.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a great philosophy on the way you do that and handle that. So, with those teams, and you talk about, the tournament side. So are they practicing during the week, or they just show up and play on the weekends?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm sure you already know the answer, but we know that there are some teams that don't practice. So we generally practice twice a week, and what's unique about our program is we have partnered up with FCA, which is Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So we are a partner with them, or they have partnered with me. Meaning, the reason being is our core values are God, family, toughness, and hard work. So if I'm being full transparency, when I first started, we've always been a Christian organization, but we didn't have that element in there that was teaching that side of it. Right. And so, like anything else, you look to continue to grow, and we know if you're going to grow, you want experts in areas that are going to help you grow. And so that was an area that we wanted to make sure that we were partnered with somebody that this is what they do. And so we have what they call SCOL sessions in our practices. So at least once a week, we'll have a 10 to 15-minute SCOL session where either a coach, a parent, a player, or somebody from FCA staff will come in and they will lead a devotional. And so because for me, one of our hashtags is God first, but another one is bigger than basketball. We don't just care about the athlete, like we care about their soul.
Right.
And so for us, it's as important, if not more important, that we're not just teaching crossovers, but we're teaching kids life skills.
Yes. And I think that's a key component. I mean, if we're being transparent, I mean, how many of our kids are, what's the percentage of kids that are going to be professional athletes?
Exactly.
So, I've,
1%.
From the coaching side, I've been in that area now to this, and just, I think sports in general there's a lot of life lessons.
Yes.
A lot of life lessons, and it's building and when you get whatever it may be when they graduate from high school, or they go to college, however it may be. But and you see all levels of those kids. That maybe some of those kids are just wanting to make their junior high team and want to just play high school and have no desire to go on. But you also have the other side of it where you've got kids that are a little more skill set, a little more athletic, and their desire is maybe to play college basketball. So I think that by adding that piece in, and I love the fact that you said that you're building character with kids and you teach them to be better human beings and how to survive. It's real world survival when you get out of it. So I love that with what you said about the Huntsman program, and I can't be more complimented about what you do with them, and I think it's great. So
I appreciate that, and I think the other part that's probably important for people to hear is we send a lot of kids to play at the collegiate level. And I think sometimes the misinterpretation is when you say you're a Christian program, that's almost like you're weak, or you're so kind that we take what we do very serious. So our trainings. I have an engineering degree, and so because I have an engineering degree, I'm wired to constantly look to revamp and improve. So there's a lot of ways that you can skew numbers in a way that look to make whatever you're doing look very beneficial, right? And so here's how we skew our numbers. We don't send kids to college every year, but we send kids that want to play to college, we send a high number. So generally speaking, so let's just say on my high school team last year, I only had one junior. Well, that junior does not want to play college basketball. So in theory, we didn't send anybody to the next level, but she didn't want to play college basketball.
Right.
The year before, I had 6 girls that wanted to play college basketball, and 5 of them were playing college basketball. Now, there was 9 people on the team.
Yeah.
So you could say, well, he only had 5 to go play out of 9. Well, only 6 wanted to go play.
Right.
And 5 of the 6 went. So when you look at that ratio, we have a really high ratio for those kids in our program that actually want to play at the next level. Right. And most of our kids are playing Division II, Division III. So we kind of target the Division II, Division III kids, and we understand that we're not. We don't have a lot of kids that are playing at the D1 level. Now, are we saying that we don't want kids that don't? No, that's not what we're saying. But we understand where we are, so we don't. I call it the smoke screen. So we're not selling something that may not be a reality, right? We are selling a hard reality, but we're pushing to fulfill those, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, because on our side, on the GBA side, we on the same way. We understand what the events we run, we don't have a lot of Division I players.
Right.
Most of our kids, like you said, that want to go on and play are the D2,
Yep.
D3 kids that come
Absolutely.
up through GBA
Yep.
that we've seen play.
Now, and do phenomenal.
Now, at the younger level,
Right.
you may see some of those
Yep.
kids that
Yes.
develop and are
Yes.
going to be your D1
Yes.
kids.
Yes.
But we know as they get older and they come up through GBA, like we know, like we don't have those Division I players playing in our tournaments every weekend. The kids that want to play, those are the D2, D3 kids.
Yep.
And the kids that just want to play high school basketball
Yep.
and develop relationships and learn good habits, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, okay, so let's jump ahead a little
Yep.
bit. All right, you get through the tournament season. What does the off season look like for, a Huntsman Elite team or players that have been a part of the Huntsman Elite with
Yeah.
training,
Yeah.
off season? What does it look like even for you?
Yeah.
What does an off season look like?
That's a loaded question. So I'm very blessed and grateful for the opportunity that I have. So you're looking at a guy, and maybe one day we can do a story on this, who used to be a former gangbanger, then graduated with an engineering degree. Mom and dad didn't raise me. My mom was addicted to drugs and alcohol. My dad was out of my life for 31 years. And now I have a good relationship, but my mom has passed away. And I just said all that to say, you're looking at somebody statistically that shouldn't have made it, right? And so for me, it's really important for me to make sure that my kids are involved in things that are bigger than basketball. So yeah, we train all year long. This is what I do full time. So this isn't a second job, and not anybody else that does a second job. I'm not saying that they don't take what they're doing seriously, but this is what I do for a living.
Right.
So because it's what I do for a living, I'm constantly looking at all the different aspects of sports to help kids improve. So I do everything from meet with kids to help them get their grades up, to work on community service. In our leagues, I have kids that are doing what we're doing right now. They're actually doing the video work. They're doing the commentating. So I have a kid that went to Mechanicsburg that used to be my announcer for my fall leagues. Well, he now just got a job for Big Ten Network.
Wow, that's great.
So in a nutshell, we're doing discipleship and mentoring
Right.
because when you look at sports, most people are only looking at the people on the court, but they don't understand that you used to play basketball and now you run an amazing event called GBA, right? I'm running Huntsman, and I used to be. There's so much more. You got coaching, you have tournament directors. I have a player that went to Triad, named Kelsey Funderburg. She's an assistant D1 coach now.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. And she contacted our family 2 years ago and was like, hey, we're playing Ohio State, and we want you guys to come sit behind the bench. And I'm looking at my wife like, we are literally at an Ohio State game watching Kelsey coach against the Buckeyes. I'm like, this is crazy, And so for me, again, when you've done it for a long time, you start to see all these different avenues. So it's just important for me when I'm mentoring my kids to help them see like, it's perfectly okay if after you graduate, you never touch a basketball again. And if you become a stay-at-home mom, a doctor, or a lawyer, like whatever you do, take the same principles you learned in our program and apply them to what you do in life. So what do we do in the off season? Man, we just try to maximize like tapping into that full player. Skill-wise, we're going to work and help you get better. I have kids that, and I don't mean this in a bad way, that start off with me that are lower skilled players that become good basketball players in high school. But more importantly, they're great like teammates and great leaders. They're on the National Honor Society program, and they're going to college doing amazing things. And they're not playing basketball,
right,
but they're great people, So for me, it's like, it's that pour into that full person that, So in the off season, whether I have kids that are in my camps or they're helping run the camps or run leagues, we do so much, man. We do so much.
Yeah. And speaking of that, leagues, I know you do some fall leagues, you do some things as well.
Winter leagues,
leagues, things like that. If you want to speak on those a little bit and talk about that area of what you do with Huntsman.
So obviously during the fall, we run a co-ed winter league, which has started to morph into, in the younger division, so 6th grade and under, that's co-ed, and then 7th grade and older, I have enough numbers now that I have like a girls division and a boys division. And obviously I believe it's hyped, and we have one court, so we're limited to about 300 kids in our fall. So then once we hit our numbers, we have to shut it down. But it's ran like this mini NBA. I mean, I've got the music cranking. We announce the games.
Yeah.
They're live. They're commentated. When people score, we're playing music in the background. I mean, this is during the game.
Love it.
So this atmosphere is like, it's crazy. I mean, it's a really good atmosphere. The Winter League is more of a developmental league. So this is, I have kids that are playing. Sometimes you'll have skilled kids that can't find anywhere else to play. And in my leagues, everybody's guaranteed to play half the game. So the part that's unique about the league is sometimes, and again, this is not a bash, if you go somewhere with the team, you're kind of subject to the coach's decision. So if the coach decides you're going to play 20% of the game, you're only going to play 20%.
Right.
In our league, after 5 minutes when the game stops, the next group comes in. So the thing that everybody loves is court time is valuable when kids are younger. And for me, again, that goes back to, like, right now, this is about development. It's not about getting W's. For me, I guess this is important to say too, my desire is that my program is an asset to high school programs. So if you're a high school coach, if you're sending a kid to me, you want that kid to come back better.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so we're not gimmicking. Like, I'm not playing a bunch of like garbage defenses. Like, you're going to have to learn how to play man if we're in elementary. Now, I'm not saying we never run zone, but you have to go back better to your school. And if you go back worse, and they're like, well, what have you been doing all, these last 6 months? I've been with Huntsman. They're like, you can't go back to Huntsman and if you look like that, know.
Right.
So
Yeah, and I'm sure those coaches appreciate that because a lot of coaches probably don't get that from the off season. But yeah, Trey, you talk about you're involved in so much stuff, and we're here today at one of 4 locations that you train at. So for those that don't know about Huntsman, how can they find out about you? Where can they reach you? Find out more about training, maybe the teams, things like that. Where can they get that information?
Easy. So our website is huntsmanelite.com, which is easy. So that's not hard to remember at all. And generally we practice for AAU teams. We're normally in the Bellefountain, Urbana, London, Springfield areas. So if you're probably within those areas, that's probably where you'll find us. But most of our information, if you have questions, on huntsmanelite.com, and that'll give you everything from our training, our obviously payment packages and so forth. We have a great deal going on that I just created this year. It's a $99 a month thing that's unlimited.
Okay.
I tried something new and I really like it, and the families like it as well that like to train, and that's something that you can do periodically.
Okay.
Meaning like you can go unlimited for these 2 months and then, cut it off, and there's no penalty for cutting it off and start it back up. Yeah, the huntsmanelite.com, you go there and that gives you everything. Obviously, we're on all social media sites under Huntsman Elite as well. So your Instagram, is it called X now? Twitter? I don't know.
Yeah,
Is that what it's called? Yeah, I don't. It's hard for me to keep up with
Yeah.
everything, but we're on TikTok. We're on everything. So
Okay.
if you're looking for us, we're there.
We'll make sure we have all that information
Yes.
for those out there. We'll make sure we have it in this video. Your website, all the places they can reach you. If they have any information or something, they can contact you. But again, the GBA, we thank you for all your support over the years. Like I said, we look forward each weekend to seeing the Huntsman Elite programs because you know what you're getting, and we look forward to seeing you guys here just in a couple months.
Yes,
we're
sir.
kicking off here, but and also we appreciate you having us here at your training facility here. At home. Today.
At home. I am
at home today.
Yeah, I train upstairs and I live downstairs, and it'll be cool. I'm sure Sean will have some footage that we can see. And I do want to add this as we close. For those of you who are interested in GBA and you're wondering if you're looking for tournaments, I do want to put this out there. We participate in a lot of tournaments, and we are in Kentucky, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Indiana, obviously in Ohio as well. And GBA does an outstanding job when it comes to hosting tournaments. And I'm not just saying this because you guys are here. I'm saying this because we mean it. they run a high-level tournament, and there's nothing more frustrating than when you have paid for something and you're not getting what you pay for, and there's nothing more rewarding than when you're getting something that you know you're going to consistently get a good product. And so if you like the Cheesecake Factory or J. Alexander's, they would be the J. Alexander's of the tournament world, right? Because you're going to get high level and you're going to get it consistently, and they take pride in that. And again, no one's perfect, but as long as we've been doing it, and it's been for about a decade, so that's about 10 years. I mean, we keep coming back because we know that you guys are going to consistently offer us high level. And to be honest, the other thing I think is important too, you guys care about what you do. And we feel that. We can feel that mom and pop feel, when you walk in,
Right.
Hey, John, how's it going? Jeff, how you doing? And we know we're going to be taken care of. And if we've had an issue, because in everything that exists, there's always going to be a hiccup or something that maybe there's been a mistake. You guys always handle it quickly, and we don't run into obviously many of those, but that's huge too. So I want to put a plug out there for GBA. I think GBA is amazing, and we're grateful for you guys as well, because we couldn't do what we do without good tournaments, and we know there's some bad ones out there, and there's nothing more frustrating than have all these families to travel somewhere, and when you get there, the site that they said it was going to be at is not the site that you're playing at.
Right.
And you know who they're not blaming? They're not blaming the tournament director. They're blaming me, right? And so if somebody goes to Indiana and that's not the right facility, or if the place is terrible, or if it's garbage or it's trash, so we know that when our teams are going there, we rarely get calls about they're confused or this is not a good facility. Facilities are amazing, to be honest, because you guys are either using, universities or colleges, or you're using high-level high schools. And so,
Right.
So that's huge. So I want to put that plug out there.
Well, we appreciate that, and
Yeah.
we're very grateful, and not only for the Huntsman in the tournaments, but also we've developed a friendship.
Absolutely.
And I think that's important in what we do, and that's part of what we do. And like you said, you hit it. This has been GBA is a mom and pop.
Yep.
Like it's all family,
Yep.
friends.
Yep.
That are teachers and coaches and
Yep.
sheriffs and doctors that all work, and we do it and because we enjoy it.
Absolutely.
So, but we're grateful for Huntsman. It's you guys are part of what allows us to do what we love to do. So again, I thank you for that. Thank you for all your generosity and for having us here today, and all your support over the years. And we look forward to seeing Huntsman Elite here on the court very soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, take care, Trey.
Yes. All right, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed that episode of the GBA All Access Roadshow with Trey Huntsman of Huntsman Elite. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media pages, including our YouTube page, for the complete videos and highlights of all of our All Access videos. And also, if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out. And if you want to join the GBA All Access Roadshow, make sure you hit us up via email, social media, or text us or call us. Take care. God bless. We'll see you on the court very soon.
GBA squad, GBA nation. We ballin' any location. We making